Okay. So now let's see what we are trying to do here. Okay, so this is a simple game thing. What we are trying to do is this simple thing. There's options here. So when you press some button, you will have those options available to you, like what you have in most of the games, especially FPS. So we have quality settings, which you can set the graphic qualities overall as a high quality, medium quality, low quality, and the customized quality. Okay, let's see. It's actually it's hard to tell difference here because it's just a cube there, but if you adjust something else like the field view of your camera, you want to have a wider field view on your camera. You want to see more things. Let's see, if we adjust this field view to be a larger number, we drag it to the right side, what's going to happen? Well, this okay, if we have a wider field view, in terms of this cube, will it be smaller or bigger? Smaller? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be smaller because you basically you are trying to squeeze more things into your view, so each thing will be smaller in order to squeeze in one thing. So yeah, if you adjust it to be smaller field view, it's gonna be bigger. Yeah. And also the anti-aliasing, you can kind of anti-aliasing is something I think you're aware of that. It's something that make the edge of your game object smoother, more smooth, or smoother, any word. So usually if you turn on the anti-aliasing, it's gonna be like cost. It will have some cost on your computer resources. So sometimes if you focus more on if you do not have a fancy graphic card and you focus more on the game, play the game, sometimes you kind of want to toggle it off. Yeah. So it's not fully implemented here. Yeah. So this is anti-aliasing on, and this is off. Yeah, it's hard to tell the difference because this is a really simple thing. And the resolution, we can do we can adjust different resolution. So let's see if we can tell any difference. Okay, I think I need to build the game in order to see the difference, because and we can make it on and off to see if it is let me build the game. Anyway, so if we build game, we will see if we can actually make the game a window or not. If it's window, if it's a windowed game, and then we adjust the resolution, we will see the window become bigger and smaller. But if it's full screen mode and we adjust the resolution, you will see that the whole game seems to be more clear or to be less clear. See, so we can adjust the resolution because it's windowed. So if we have a higher resolution, it will occupy your screen, more space of your screen. And if it's the smallest, you can only see this small area because this 600 by 400, pretty small. And if we have this full screen on, and then we adjust this resolution, what you can see is it is actually changing the resolution of a game, but still it's full screen, and you can see a lower quality here. This is a higher quality, and you can see a bigger area because the resolution is bigger. And yeah, and the shadows, no shadows. Okay, I didn't do the shadow thing. Well, and the music volume. And speaker type. So this is gonna be interesting. So it can be mono, which means okay, it's that, which means the speakers will have the same thing, left side, right side, no matter how many speakers you have. And stereo, it's gonna create maybe 3D sound, surround sound. And we have a 5.1, 7.1. So if you have more speakers, you have those options as well. Yeah. Right now it's mono, but I don't know if you can hear the difference. Okay, back. Alright, so now let's see how can we do that. Basically, we do everything through script, and Unity have already building most of the functions. You just need to find out where is it and how can you use those functions. So most of the time you just have to memorize. Yeah, I have used that thing somewhere, so in this class. So when in the future, if you want to adjust the resolution, you can, maybe you're aware that there's something there, I can just directly call it to set the resolution, things like that. Okay. So now let's start with okay. So we're going to talk about video today, so we will remove the audio sounds. Okay. computer status. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so main camera, the video config. So we will try to do those three scripts. One is video configuration, or the other one, second one audio configuration, and also another script. It's a GUI to control them. So now let's start with a new script. Okay, we call it my video settings. Alright. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, there is actually if you play more with Unity, you will find it's actually so if you notice here, we have two scripts here. One is my video settings, one is my audio settings. You notice any difference there?
The video setting doesn't have a check.
Yeah, you don't have the option on the video settings. You don't have the option to check or uncheck it. But in the audio settings, my audio settings, you do have the option. So if you notice what I just did, how did I make this happen? Anyone notice what I did just now? Yeah, if we go back to the code, you will see that I actually delete the start function and the update function. So if you do not have those there, it's actually not enabled. So it's like something, because this check button, it will have something control that if you are actually executed the start function and the update function. So if you do not have those functions there, so it doesn't matter if you check it or not, right? It doesn't matter if you check it or not. So it doesn't have that option there at all. Okay, but it doesn't have the check and uncheck button there. Doesn't mean like this class won't this class, this object won't be created. This object, if you attach this script to that game object, this script, the object, like the instance of this class, still it's gonna be like initialized in your game, right? Just the update function and the start function won't be called. So like here, if you uncheck this, doesn't mean that this script doesn't exist at all. It still have that space in your memory. It's still there. If you like putting some like integer value, integer flag equals to 6, okay, this integer still have its space. The whole class, actually, the whole object still have its space in the memory. If you do not want this script in your game thing, the best practice is not just uncheck it. It's like you remove the whole component so that it won't be occupy your space and occupy the resources. If you just uncheck it, remember, it's not like destroy it. If you uncheck it, it's gonna it still has space there. It's just that those two functions won't be called. Yeah. So that explains why don't we have this check option here, because we do not have those functions at all. So it doesn't matter if you check it or not. Alright. So that's the thing, that's a small trick here. It'll take me some while to find this out. Okay. So let's do the video settings. Actually, in this video settings, we're not going to use any of the start or update. So, because we will use another thing, the GUI, to control this. So here, I just want to provide a whole bunch of methods for that GUI to call. So when I press a button, I know I need to find this video configure script and call the related functions. So that's a simple structure of this setting system. Okay. All right, it's not quite clear. Okay. Okay. So first, we need to decide what do we want to control on the video settings. So what I just mentioned is the overall quality, right? It has medium, it has high, not resolution, but quality, medium quality, low quality, high quality, right? And also we have resolution, right? And what else have you seen in the game you played? The graphic options.
What about like the brightness of the picture, the image?
Okay, brightness, resolution, and what else? The bright resolution, quality, and yeah, field of view. We just saw that field of view, but sometimes it's not there, right? It's not.
There's usually VSync or something as well.
Yeah, yeah. VSync. VSync is something like it controls the way how a game render each frame. So if you turn the VSync on,
It limits it to 60 pictures, or well, 60
Yeah.
or 30.
yeah, it is turn. If you turn it on, it's gonna be. If you turn it off, the render is gonna be fast. But there will be some problem because if you turn it on, it will render a frame, fully render a frame, then render the next frame, so that if you turn it on, it will do this. But if you turn it off, it will render one frame. If it's not finished, the next frame start, it's still going to render the next frame. However, it may come with those effect that the first half is on the one screen, the second half is on this screen, maybe the previous frame. So you're gonna have a disconnected graphic there, but it's gonna be faster. But most of the time we set it on. Yeah. Right. And anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing is something you can set a different level of anti-aliasing. It can be a high level or lower level, so it be more smooth. Yeah, so things like that. Yes. Okay. So first, let's write a function. Like remember the thing we just mentioned. Let's write a function. When you start a game, usually there is something like default settings, right? So now first let's do some default settings. Okay. We want to have some functions here, such as settings, which is overrule quality, and we want it to take some sort of the string. We haven't implemented that function yet, so there's something like problem.
I have a question. Why not use a constructor, or like a default constructor?
Yeah. We're not using a default constructor.
You have a set defaults method, but is there a reason why you don't want to use a constructor?
Yeah, we can use a constructor to call this method.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, of course, you can use a...
I was just curious.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to separate each different method there, so that, and if you have constructor, you can decide what you want to call in the constructor. Okay. We have shadows, right? We have shadows. And usually the shadows can be on and off, so we may use some integer to 0 and 1 to do that. And set field of view. So field view is something like we want toggle the shadow on. By default, set field view. So the field view is gonna be the angle. So usually it's gonna be a float. And we set like 90 degree as its default. Okay. Set anti-aliasing. We have a different level, and vsync. Still it's on and off, so 0, 1. So we are going to finish this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 different methods, and we have those interface here. Some of them will take string, some of them will take integer, some of them take float. Okay, and now let's see. Set settings. Okay, first let's do the set settings. So here we'll make it public because somehow the GUI script in the future, if we create a GUI, we'll need this function, so we kind of need to make it public. So what it's gonna take?
String.
Yes, string. Okay, so the key point here, how can we set the settings, is by calling this. Quality settings. It's already defined, so set quality level. So you can see here, actually we have a if we're typing this, it will have some hint there. So this set quality level, it actually take the integer as its parameter. So this set quality method here, quality settings dot set quality level, is actually controlling the overrule. In Unity, it controls the overrule graphic quality to be low, medium, and high. So if it's low, it's gonna be, so it take value from 0, 1, 2. So 0 means the lowest quality, 1 means medium, 2 is like the highest. So I don't know if you actually, if you have ever built any Unity game, and sometime when you start the game, it has the option ask you the resolution and this quality thing, right? That's actually calling this function. So 0. So this is how we set the settings, but we do need to set the settings according to the name, because the name is a string. We kind of take in medium, okay, low and high as a parameter. So we need some sort of convert here to convert low to 0, medium to 1, and high to 2. Okay, so here we use a switch. Right, switch name. So it's with a case. What do I put here? We want to convert string to number, right? So if it's low, we convert it to 0, right? Okay, and the rest of them is going to be similar. So I'll just copy and paste. So if it's low, medium, and high, it's gonna be corresponding to 0, 1, and 2. So that finished this setting function. So if we have a GUI or somehow we call this function in our any method script constructor, so it will be set to medium. So it take this medium as input and judge how can it convert to the number that set quality level will take. Okay, then the next we're going to toggle the shadows. So the same, we use public and toggle the shadows. So we're gonna take an integer, right? Okay, toggle the shadow. And so if you want to toggle the shadow, the most of the thing you need to do is with the light. If you remember, when you actually play with this light here, you have this here, shadow here. So you have this option to set your shadow as soft shadow, hard shadow, and no shadows, right? So soft shadow, hard shadow, no shadow is easy to understand. What's the difference between hard shadow and soft shadow? So hard shadow is, if you look at the edge, right now we're doing the soft shadow. So it's kind of have a process. Have this this process from this darker side to the light side. It has something in between, like this color in between, right? So it's gradually change to the other color. But if you have the hard shadow, it just change directly. So you can see that edge. You can see the edge. So that's a hard shadow. So soft shadow will definitely give you a better, smooth graphic, but it's the cost issue for you to decide if it's hard shadow or soft shadow. Yeah, soft shadow is smoother. Okay, and when we toggle the shadow, we need to do something with the light, right? And sometime in your game scene, there's more than one light. Here we only have one directional light, yeah. But sometime we have a bigger game scene. We have multiple like directional light. We have a point light, spotlight. Many light sources, so that when you kind of trying to change the shadow type, you need to have the access to all of the light, each single one. So here requires you to kind of find all the light. How can we do that? You think we can do that? Of course, we can find game object with type, right? So we have an array of lights, right, in the game scene. And how can we find them? We can do this. We use we call this game object dot find game object. Find object of type. See, and then you give a type. If you wanted light, you just give the light here. Game objects, yeah. So find game objects of type. Yeah, I believe. Do we actually need this? Yeah, we don't need that, but this is more clear that this function can come from this game object class. So we have, so that we have the access to all the lights. remember that, because if we have more than one light, this is important. And for each light in the lights. Okay, so we kind of loop through the light, and then we actually do the thing to toggle the shadow on and off, and on and off and soft and hard shadow. Okay, so if you can use if, else, or you can use the K switch, so it's the same thing. If it is 0, okay, we are trying to light dot shadows. Not light, sorry, it's L dot shadows. Just do light shadow dot, so light shadow dot none. So it's already defined. So this shadows will take this assign. You can assign a value of the type light shadow. So this is it. Else, if it's to 1. L dot shadows light shadows dot hard, and then it's the same, but this time it's gonna be 2 shadows soft. So this actually toggle the shadows on and off and hard and soft. Then okay, that's just 2 function. Then the third function is field view, right? So this is pretty simple one. Public void set FOV. So it's gonna be a float new FOV. It's just, you just need one camera dot main dot field of view. Okay, so this is simple, just one statement. We just need a camera, but if we have multiple cameras, we can doing the similar thing here. Like we find all the camera first, then we use this for each to loop through and set every of the camera to be some certain field view. Okay, and then the anti-aliasing. Set anti-aliasing. It's gonna take an integer samples If you are familiar with the anti-aliasing, you'll know the meaning of the samples, but here we just tell you that it's gonna take different value as 0, 2, 4, 8, and it's kind of corresponding to different level of anti-aliasing. If it's a 0, which means there's no anti-aliasing. If it's a higher number, there's a better anti-aliasing there. So basically, you just need quality settings. Sometimes if you want to be safe, you can check if samples, because it's only take 0 or samples. Let's do 2. Yes. Two, 4, and 8. So that's setting the anti-aliasing to be higher or lower. And set vsync. So it's gonna be simple because it's only one statement. So it's also take an integer. And it's also in the quality settings. Okay, and also we want to set, so it's all here. I think we've got something resolution, right? Yeah, we also need the resolution. Yeah, so we have those resolution, the full screen. Those are working together, so we kind of need a set resolution. Right? Do we? So it's gonna take 2 of them as the input. First, this is the actual resolution. So when we take the resolution, we have some predefined ones there. It's not customized. So let's do it this way. We'll have this resolution options here, and also it tells us if it's full screen or not. Right. So here we'll have host void set resolution. set the resolution and zero, full screen 1. Let's see. Okay, so set the resolution. So when we set the resolution, actually we set the resolution and the full screen together in this function. Screen.set resolution. It will take 3 parameters. First is just the 2 parameters from the resolution, because resolution is always wide and height, right? So we have wide, height. First is wide, like 1920 and 1080, right? And we have a boolean, which we kind of want to set a boolean here. Boolean full screen equals to convert. Let's just use this to be simple. So if we do have this predefined resolution, we kind of need a mapping between the predefined resolution number to its actual resolution, right? So what we get from here is from 0 to 4, which is related to different resolution. So here we still need a switch. The switch is very useful here in terms of the convert from any input to another. Sometimes you want this kind of convert because if you want to make your GUI like more general, like your GUI can pass different. Your game maybe it's on different platform, maybe it's not on Unity, but if your GUI is sending the same information, like sending 1, 2, 3, 4, to set a different resolution. If you have this, so this kind of convert will make that interface work with Unity. And if you're not using Unity, but still using that GUI, sending the same message to the background, to the backend, you will have some other convert function here to like interpret what is the GUI, what is the intention of the user through that GUI. Okay. Switch resolution, right? Case 0. Right. So what I mean is this: you can use the GUI to still send a 0. Here in this script, when we get a 0, we set the we use the screen.set resolution 1920s, blah blah blah. But if we are not using Unity, we are using some other platform to rather some other suppose your game is made maybe on 2 things: the GUI you build with Unity, or you build with some other platform, but the communication between the GUI and the backend, you can set it fixed. So here, this is Unity, you can use screen.resolution. Maybe on some other platform, you're using a screen1.resolution set, something like that. So you have the options here. So that's why we're not that's why we're using some of the conversion here, and especially for this one, right? This string is kind of like, we can have this on different platforms like C#. We have string. Java has string, and many other program language, we all have string. So it's kind of general way to send the message, and it's easy to serialize the string. You can send a string from C# to Java and still can read that string. So sometimes if you want trying to make your code more generalized to be adapted to more environments, you kind of want to make the interface less connected with what we're using. For example, here you can just set settings, then you take an input as 0, 1, 2. But if you set 0, 1, 2, yeah, it's meaningful in the Unity, but it's maybe not meaningful in some other platform. However, if you set medium, low, and high, even the other platform, they can still take that input, and maybe they have some other convert process to convert low to maybe they have something else. Maybe they call 2, 3, 4. It's just an example. 2, 3, 4, and maybe they are not calling quality settings. They are calling setting qualities, something like that. Okay, so it's just a way to make it more general. Case 1, we don't need this, we just need copy and paste. Case 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, and 4. So if you remember, we actually have another one. 1,600, 900. We have another one. 2018 versus 1024, and 1280, 800, and this is the smallest one. Yep. So here is one, and this is Boolean. Because I'm not recommending you using Boolean here, because when on some other platform, if you are trying to set up the full screen, maybe it's not Boolean, maybe it's 0 or 1. So here I still want to use the integer. Here, Boolean 4 equals to convert not have this convert function. Okay, fine. Let's write one. So maybe it's just a private function. Integer 2 Boolean function. So if to convert equals to 0, we return false, else we just return true. Okay, this is going to be the function. So it will take the GUI, no matter the GUI, what is behind the GUI. The GUI is sending resolutions ID and its full screens ID, like two integers. Those are two general way to setting the resolution and the full screen. But here in Unity, what we get is, if we have this ID, we kind of convert them into different resolution, and if we have integer to represent the full screen or not, we convert it to a Boolean, and then we can call some method locally in Unity to set the resolution to something and to set the full screen to something. Okay, so that's actually finished all the settings in the video. And in next class, we will talk about how can we use the GUI to actually call this function, and we will see how can we use Player Prefab to save and load those game settings. So whenever you resume your game, you continue your game, you still get the same settings you did last time. Okay. All right, that's it for today. Thank you.